You were stupid. You were an idiot at that point. You are not an idiot the entire life. If I ask you to mention a couple of my films, you'll probably come with 10, 20, maximum 30 films, which means I've failed 70 times. The highs of your life is what remains in the public. So it's very, very important to understand that, yes, I failed. It's not you failed. You say, my attempt failed. I tried at something, that failed. You didn't fail. One failure does not determine who you are.
Hello and welcome to Vikram's Incredible 1000, the Success Podcast. On this, we look to interview the best of the best and really understand what does it take to get extraordinary results at what we do so that we can replicate the same. Today, we have with us an ultra special person. He's done over 150 films where he was the lead actor in over 3 or 4 or even more languages. He's a TV show host of Weekend with Ramesh. He's been in the entertainment industry for more than 3.5 decades. He's also a motivational speaker and an author to top that. I'm so happy to introduce today to you, Mr. Ramesh Aravind, sir. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Nice to be on the show.
Yes, sir. Absolute pleasure having you. On this note of, you've done this for so long and you've been talking about how we can improve our lives and about success and stuff. So I want to know from you, what drives you to be extraordinary and incredible?
I think that's what drives all of us. That's the purpose of all of us, is to better ourselves in every way, every day. You never reach a plateau at all. Just because I've been here for 35 years, I can't say, no, today is another day. This is another interview. Right? So everything is an opportunity to show the world who you are, and you become a better version with every passing day. That's what excites you. The Ramesh of yesterday, the Ramesh of today, the Ramesh of today should be slightly more in every aspect. As a father, as an husband, as an actor, as a director, as a host, as a listener, whatever. In every aspect possible, you should be better than you were yesterday. It needs a lot of effort, concentrated. It just doesn't happen on its own. After sometimes it becomes a second nature in you, but then you must be at it. You can't take it for granted. That's what I'm telling you. At no point you take it for granted that you have arrived, I have reached. You've not reached at any point. It's always a journey you look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Amazing to hear that. I mean, people tend to forget the concentrated effort that goes into creating a brand like what you have become today. I think there is so much to take note of from what you have just shared in the last minute or so. Sir, I want to know from you, they say sometimes that success is a process and not an event. So what were some of those critical incidents in your life that shaped you to be the man that you are today? What created this Ramesh Aravind that we all know and adore today?
I mean, that's for you guys to do the postmortem. But there are a few things which helped me. Definitely the home I grew up in. I did a show called Kannada Actor Ramesh Aravind, which was the Kannada version of Kaun Banega Crorepati, which Amitabh was doing it in Hindi. And I got a chance to host the one season of it. In that, I used to tell people, here, in 1 hour, you can win 1 crore Indian rupees. 1 hour, 1 crore. I used to keep on saying. And then I realized I became a crorepati in just a second. That second was the second I was born as the son of Mr. P.A. Govindachari and G. Saroja. That was the lottery of my life. That was the biggest thing that happened in my life. I was so happy that I was born in that house. Not because they were rich. We lived in a room The room that you see behind me, my whole house was half of that in which we grew. It was half of this. My entire house, me, my elder brother, my younger brother, my sister, my dad, my mom, 6 of us lived in a place which was not even half of this. But in our minds, it was so big because they were so broad-minded. We were brought up in an atmosphere where they made us believe we can do anything. Nowhere in my entire life has my dad or mother made a statement which made me, I never feel short even when I'm next to Amitabh Bachchan. Height was never an issue. Nothing was an issue. You are good as you are. I was not compared with anybody about anything. I never felt I was lacking in something in terms of money. My father, you won't believe it. He was a taxi driver. He was running a taxi for some time. And then he was running a coconut shop. His salary was 500 rupees a month. But then we were brought in the same level in terms of thinking that we are in no way less than the kings or the emperors of the world. You're in no way less in terms of your attitude. So I grew up in an atmosphere like that, where you believed in yourself. You're not haughty. You're not arrogant. You respect the whole world. But then you believe in yourself. You're capable of yourself. And nothing was forced on us. They never asked me to study, do this, do that. I was first rank throughout. But not because my daddy told me to study. Not because my mommy told me to study. I still remember when I was in 4th standard, I came from a small town to Bangalore. I didn't know English. I was standing in the school queue. There were 2 girls in front of me. And they were laughing. They were telling me, moo, moo. I didn't know what the word moo meant. I didn't know what moo was. And they were laughing at me as I was an idiot. Then my eraser fell down in the class. And the teacher asked, whose is this? And I said, I am rubber. And everybody laughed at me. I came home. I started crying. My dad then told me, why are you crying? English. It's a language. After all, it's a language. The way he said it, after all, it is a language. He said, you can master it if you want. I keep telling everybody, you want to become a director? After all, it is direction. You want to enter politics? After all, it is politics. You want to enter business? After all, it is business. That's all it is. It is not a huge thing. It is not going to Mars. It is a skill that you can learn. If you are bent upon it, you apply your mind, you keep on learning. You never stop learning. So I had a house, I had a background, which was an advantage. That was the first thing which helped me. The second thing which helped me was that I kept constantly learning. To this day, I've never stopped. I love to learn about everything. I'm curious about so many things. I'm always reading and writing and listening to important things. I never waste my time on inconsequential stuff. I never waste time looking at the TV, the same old breaking news the 24 hours. If it is breaking news, it'll reach you, man. You don't have to keep looking at it 20 times. If it's really a big thing, an aeroplane went into a skyscraper, you will come to know about it through somebody. You don't have to spend hours in front of the TV listening to how many corona deaths are happening every day. Please don't waste your time on that. There are more important things to learn at your age. Keep learning things which will help you in your field. There are certain things that you learn for curiosity's sake, and certain things. What I need, I want to be a better director. I want to be a better actor. I want to be a better host. What are the learnings which will help me in it? If I have to be a host, I have to be on TV all the time. My Kannada better be good. My vocabulary better be good. My voice throw it better be good. My pauses better be good. These are the things I should focus on at every age. Not because I've done 87 episodes of Weekend with Ramesh. I have 4 seasons behind me. I have a KBC behind me. You can't take it easy. Even to this day, when I go to a show, you can be sure that I'll be reading a Kannada book on the way to the studio. I want my mind to be in Kannada words when I reach there for that 1 hour. That 1 hour, I'm not going to be distracted by social media or some unwanted message. I want my mind to be on my work. That is one thing that you need, I think, to be constantly learning at your job, at things which help you in what you do. 3. The third thing which helped me was that by nature, or then I learned it was my advantage, so I developed it, that you be emotionally stable. Meaning, you do not react to things immediately. You do not say things in anger. You can't take it back. Words wound. Be careful of things you say, things you do. Do not get into gossip. Please be very clear of these things. Be emotionally stable. if you are emotionally stable, that is going to be one of the biggest points which help me, which will help you. And then, whenever there was a choice between, there are always two ways to everything. There is one way you go on the ego and say, yeah, so you think so, I'll show you who I am. Yeah, you know who I am? That is one way to approach things. The second thing is you take a back seat and say, why is the guy acting like this? What is his viewpoint? What is he trying to say? Try to understand his viewpoint a little and try to take the path of love. It will happen between husband and wife. It will happen between friends. It will happen between boss and servant. The ego part of it pushing the engine. So you choose the path of love every time, and it's paid me back in an immense way. People who have been rude to others, who have been extremely unreasonable with others, have been very, very reasonable with me. Have been very, very sweet to me because the world treats you the way you treat them. So I think you choose the path of love. That help me, that will help you too. And the biggest thing, and the first thing which will help you is you are what you think. You are your thoughts. That's all it is. It's how you view the world, what is running on your mind right now, what you give value to, what is important to you, and how you look at something. When we were in school, there was a very popular anecdote which I keep repeating. There was a church with a board written, God is now here. One man read it as God is now here. An atheist who doesn't believe in God read it as God is nowhere. It was the same board. The way you view it was different. Everything in life is what you view it as. You view it positive, people are good, people will help, think good things happen to you. You think the whole world is bad, everybody is a creep, everybody is a crook, you're right in that too. So either way, it is a way you view things. I can tell you one thing which I've seen in this entire journey. You have huge dreams, you want all the dreams to come true. Excellent. The things which will help you reach your dreams, everything which will take you closer and closer to your dream, everything is within you. Two, everything which will pull you back from the dream, everything which will not allow you to reach your goal is again within you. There's not outside. So you have to make sure that you go closer to the first and stay away from the latter.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, sir. I mean, there's a lot to take away just from this last 5 minutes what you just shared. Primarily, the one thing that stood out for me that seems to be going along as a trend throughout your life was the presence of kindness. I think kindness played a big role in shaping you to be the person that you are today, right from your childhood where your parents raised you, and then you have now reached this point where that same kindness, again, like you said, what you give is what you get, and kindness begets kindness and love begets love. So very, very well phrased.
So you be kind. That's the first thing. You be kind to everybody. They're going to be kind to you. And first of all, you be kind to yourself. You be kind to yourself. There are people you're torturing yourself. You're doubting yourself. You're not being kind to yourself. You're kind to the whole world. Many times I've seen people who are not kind to themselves. So be kind to the world. Be kind to yourself. And grace just works on you.
Absolutely, sir. With what you just shared about the importance of self-belief and the power of thought being the fundamental force that drives us to achieve something, I would like to know what your perception of failure and rejection is, because in the film industry, this is something that a lot of people tend to face. So how did you face this challenge, and how did you overcome it? What's your advice for people who are possibly going through the same thing?
One thing is that everybody who has come on your show, perhaps, and whatever books you have read, they've told you the same thing, is that you don't take failure personally, which is true. And that's what, if I've done 150 films, you mentioned I've done around 150 films. And if I ask you to mention a couple of my films, you'll probably come with 10, 20, maximum 30 films, which means I've failed 70 times. But what remains in your mind, what the people remember, the people of Karnataka remember, is an America, is a Amrita Varshini, is a Panchatantram, is a Satili Lavati, is a Rama Shamapama, is a Apta Mitra, is a Ulta Palta. The highs of your life is what remains in the public. So when you fall low, when you give a flop, if you're devastated, if you're not able to function as well as you were when you're successful, then you can never see the next high. So it's very, very important to understand that, yes, I failed. It's not you failed. You say, my attempt failed. I tried at something that failed. You didn't fail. Not the entire you didn't fail. You tried one particular thing. The idea was wrong. You were stupid. You were an idiot at that point. You are not an idiot the entire life. Many of them assume that this one film was me. This film flopped. This business flopped. This thing I tried flopped. So I flopped. I'm a failure. I cannot be a success. No. One failure does not determine who you are. Of course, the world will be against you at that point. Nobody will believe you. That is where you have to be the strongest. So it is very, very important that you get success initially. It's so, see, many people are lucky in that sense that the very first film they did became a hit. People accepted them. And there are people like me, I got my first break after 10 years. I given small hits are given, but to become a hero, to get people to the theaters in big numbers, my first film as a hero, which people accepted, was Madhumasa, which came 10 years after my entry. In those 10 years, my brothers have told me, what are you doing? You are a first rank student. You can get into any engineering. You can get so much of money. And you're not getting money. You're not getting fame. You're not getting success. What are you doing here? If you think that way, what I was doing was, I was getting happiness in my work. I was feeling extremely good doing what I was doing. I was not successful. That is different. I was not getting money. That's also okay. But I was so happy doing what I was doing. See, there are things when you do, you feel good doing it. Those are the things you must choose. Success will come. Even if you're getting a lot of money, but you're doing something which you're not happy about, which you're cribbing in the mind, you're getting a lot of money in it, but you're not happy in that space, I tell you, that is in no way a success, boss. Tomorrow or day after, that chair is going to go away from you. But if there is something that you love, that chair is going to be with you always. It's a permanent chair. It is not a 5-year chair which a politician gets because of votes. If it is something from your heart, it is going to be a long-lasting chair you will sit on. That wasn't what it was. So when it comes to failure, please be sure that was something that you really like to do and you failed. If it is something that you really didn't like and it failed, please, it's a very clear indication that you're in the wrong line in the first place. If it was something you loved deeply, you enjoyed doing every minute of it, working hours won't matter. When I do editing, when I do cinema, when I do shooting, I can shoot for 18 to 20 hours without getting tired, without getting irritated, and I love to keep the shot at 11 o'clock in the night. I love to keep it. I love to make my actors act because I basically love it. If that is the kind of field you are in, and if you're losing, absolutely no issue at all. It'll come back to you. There's no doubt about it. So please don't take it personally. Failure can be one. It was a wrong idea. It was a stupid idea. Accept it. Two, perhaps your team was bad. Perhaps you trusted the wrong people. Perhaps the guy you partnership was wrong. He was not of your wavelength. Perhaps you didn't have enough money. Perhaps the idea was ahead of its time. Who knows why a thing failed? So the thing failed. That particular project failed. You didn't fail.
Mm-hmm. I think among what you shared, sir, I believe that passion triumphs over everything. I mean, whether it is failure, whether it is rejection, if you love something bad enough and you want it bad enough, you can push yourself over the edge to actually get what you're after.
Exactly. See, if you don't like it, because life is not easy, boss. Tomorrow morning you'll have a fever of 101 degree and there's a big shooting happening. They have arranged 70 horses, they have booked the Bangalore Palace, there are 500 people waiting for you. So much of money is involved. You have a fever of 100 degrees centigrade. If you have to get up and go to work, unless you really love it, you cannot do it. You'll go back, put on your blood sheet and say, cancel the shooting. You need extraordinary love towards your job to really succeed. So I will advise you two things. One, choose something you really love. If not, at least start loving what you're doing. There is no point in doing something half-heartedly without loving it. There are so many times when I joined engineering college, I didn't like it. I didn't like the college I joined. I was hating it. The first 3 months was hell for me. Though my marks was good, everything was good. I didn't like the place. The entire place was irritating me. But once they put me as the head of a skits group, head of the dramatics group, the same place became beautiful for me. So it is not the place. The place was not the problem. The problem was I was not getting something I enjoyed doing. That is where the entire problem is. If you're irritated, if you're bored, for some reason, if you're not happy with your life, it means you're doing something you're not really enjoying. So either enjoy what you're doing or find something that you really enjoy.
Mhm. Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. From engineering to acting, from screenwriting to film direction, from motivational speaking to becoming an author. I mean, the creativity gene that's within you has certainly been activated. I think we can agree. But I want to know, how does creativity impact one's success in life? What's your experience been with regard to unlocking your creativity?
That's the most beautiful point. If you're creative, that's a very special, you call it a gene, fine. I don't know if it's a biological thing or when you imbibe it, you can also learn it, or you're bright enough to grasp it from others for whatever reason. If you're creative, it's easier to be successful in any line. I'm not talking per se creative in terms of painting or writing a poem or singing a song. That's not what I'm talking about. Creative meaning, if you can think of new solutions, if you can put things together in ways people haven't done before, if you can see the bigger picture, oh, this is happening. That's why this is happening. If I correct this, this will be all right. If you have that kind of a thinking, you're not going by a set tool of A to B to C to D. You have a knack of sidetracking something and finding a way out. If you have that kind of a mind, that is called a creative mind. If you can extrapolate one thing into another, if you can join things which are not related at all, that is called a creative mind. If you have that kind of mind, it's going to be very easy for you to be successful because you will find solutions which a normal mind cannot. You will find the opportunity where everybody else fails the challenge. So I think it really helps to be creative. Cinema people, the creative guys, the directors or the writers, those guys by nature are creative. So that helps us because all the time it's a scene. We create a problem. And the whole problem is how do you get out of it? What is the climax of the scene? That's how our mind works. See, the way I think, I use this creativity just to train my mind. I think you should also. Like, let me tell you an example. If somebody sends you a WhatsApp message, don't simply forward it. If you enjoyed it, if you really enjoyed it, you forward it, right? Don't simply forward it. Think, if you can think of such a smart line, whether you can create something as intelligent as that. Don't be a passive consumer and just forward it. Become a creator. You think, how can I create a joke like this? How can I create a punchline like this? Can I think of a parallel? Let me tell you an example. I heard a joke, which I heard Anupam Kher say it on television. This was a joke, which I've told in a lot of places. There is a dog competition, which is the most beautiful dog in Karnataka. There is a dog from Hubli, and there's a dog from Davangere, there's a dog from Shimoga, there's a dog from Bangalore, there's a dog from Mysore, and all the dogs are standing in line. The judges are coming by, the dogs want to impress the judges. So they're all rattling their tails wildly. Okay, all dogs are rattling their tails. The Davangere dog is going full swing, the Hubli dog is going full swing. When all dogs are wagging their tails sideways, there is one dog which is wagging its tail like this. And the judge says, what's this? So there's a Bangalore dog, sir. Why is it wagging its tail like this? Ayo, in Bangalore, there is no space to wag like this, sir. That was the joke he said. It's a huge statement on how congested Bangalore is. Dogs don't have spaces to wag their tails. Okay? And this is a joke which works big time when you tell in a Kannada language, whatever the content. Once you hear the joke, what my challenge to you now is think of another joke. The concept is the same. You're going to tell me Bangalore is congested. Here there was a dog, there was a competition, dog competition. Forget that. Think it in your own way. How are you going to give me the punchline? Challenge yourself. When you hear a joke, when you see a stand-up comedian on television which you enjoy, laugh, have fun. When you're alone, think how well you can do it. What is your way? Or when you hear a beautiful song, you hear a lovely lyric, think of how do I get it across in my way. You may not be as good as Gulsa, that is different. But you must try. You can't be keep on playing video games all the time. High time you start designing video games and others enjoy it. You must be on the other side of things. You can't be on the consumer side always. You get the point? So that is what I'm saying. Be creative means to be on the other side. How do I create things that I enjoy? I'm enjoying certain things. I'm enjoying a beautiful music by some great director. Do I have the musical knowledge to do it myself? If I don't find, but there are places where you know things. You must be on the other side. Be creative there.
Absolutely, sir. Very beautifully put. I think often today we find people, instead of trying to unlock their creativity, they're busy trying to conform and blend into society. But with all the stuff that you just shared, it really adds to the point that creativity is one of the most important factors to success, and this is how you unlock it.
Totally.
I want to know now, sir. I mean, they say that success boils down to certain habits. So what are some of the success habits that you've developed and that you feel have transformed you to get to this level of success? And what does your routine look like?
My routine, one is that I always keep my part of the deal. Like if I tell you that I'll be here at 11:30, you can be sure that I'll be here at 11:30. It's not only with you, with everybody. If I tell somebody that I'll do this, they'll be very sure that I'll do it. If I tell them I'll call tomorrow at 3 o'clock, you can very well expect my call at 3. It's not just the timing I'm talking about. You deliver things that you promise or don't promise. In fact, you should deliver more than you promise. In everything. With your wife, with your parents. It's an unspoken deal that I do these things in the house, you do these things in the house, and you take care of your responsibilities. If you shrink from your responsibilities and you expect the other person to keep the bargain, there's going to be trouble. So the first thing that I do, that I'll advise you to do, is to keep your part of the bargain. Sometimes the bargain is set, sometimes it is not set in some relationships. You keep your part of the deal. You take the responsibility on your shoulder and keep it up. That's one thing that I always do. It almost became like a routine that I'm replying to things and all that. I get up earlier than others in my house. I have this habit of getting up early, which I think is helping me quite a bit because I get around 1.5 hours of absolute time only for myself, where I do things which I enjoy to satisfy my curiosity and to learn, to read. So the first 1.5 hours goes only in that. And I learned from some other guy on the net who was saying that, he never starts the day opening the social media. He told a very nice thing, which I try to follow too. He says, you start the day creating something. Like you make something, you write something, write a page, write a poem, scribble something, think of an idea, think of something. Do not start a day with somebody else. Start with your mind, start with your thought about something. I like that. I try to do that. Then about 7:30, today now it's Corona, things have changed a bit. Otherwise, my makeup man comes in, my costumer comes in, we get ready, we go to the shoot. Once I go there, it is one hell of a job. Every minute, you go on and on. It's a 6 p.m. call sheet. I finish at 6:30. Travel back home, so at 8:30, 9 o'clock, have dinner, and then sleep home. I'm not much into television or news, not much, unless I get recommendations from people saying, this is an amazing thing, you must watch it. I don't really waste time on that. If I get a recommendation from somebody I respect, I watch those kind of web series or television or movies. I go by that. So that's what the routine is. Of course, the exercise, I don't forget at all. I try to exercise for at least 20 minutes a day, mostly in the morning if shooting is there. Otherwise, once I come back in the night. So it's basically this.
Amazing, sir. I just want to know, are there some, with all that you do in terms of the space of motivational speaking and trying to help other people, are there any key life lessons that you have given your children that you would like to share?
I think all that we do is indirectly. I did audio book for a book called Last Lecture. Somebody translated in Kannada and I gave the voice. The whole book was about this guy. It was his last lecture. Okay, he was in cancer. He knew that he's dying. So he giving a lecture to his students about all that he wants to say. He finishes the lecture. At the end says, all this is actually for my children. I don't know how to tell them. I don't have enough time with them to tell them. I'm dying. I'm telling it through you guys. Probably that's what it is all about. All that you say is meant for your children also. And perhaps they're watching some of them, perhaps they're not watching some of them. There is no deliberate attempt to tell them something because my father never told me anything. I simply followed his example. He kept up his word. He was disciplined. I'm following all that. He didn't tell me you should be disciplined. You should get up at 6 o'clock. He never told me. But because he was like that, I became like that. So I guess my children will learn by the way I am, and whether I walk, they talk. That's what they'll learn from. But invariably during dinner conversations, these things come up. Of course, they have their very strong viewpoints. I learn so much from them. It's a give and take.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, sir. I just have one more question. On your show, Weekend with Ramesh, you've interviewed so many successful people. So what are some of the insights that you gained while talking to them, and how do you feel those have changed your life compared to what you've already picked up from, your various other experiences?
Weekend with Ramesh was a very enlightening journey. What happens is there are times, when you see a celebrity or a star talking about something he did with his brother, and then you realize how loving he was to his brother. Then you start questioning, have I been such a good brother? Am I that good a human being? That kind of question comes. And then sometimes you see the way they have treated their wives or their parents, and then you're thanking God that, my God, I was a better son, I was a better husband. So both these things have happened. Sometimes you feel you've not measured up to that. Sometimes you feel, oh, thank God, I'm a better guy. Both the things have happened. A lot of things have made a impact on me. Overall, I think I became a better human being because of the whole experience. Because the show itself, the show format, if you know, is about surrendering my ego. Overall, I have to surrender my entire ego to be in front of people who are perhaps 25 years junior to me. There are guys who have sat there who have done just 3 films and are other films behind me. But then I had to shutter everything and talk to them like I've not done a single film in my life. So those were the learnings. To surrender ego was a huge thing. But finally, I learned one thing, Vikram. Success is not about, of course, money helps. I'm not saying it's not about money. Money, of course, helps. Fame helps. Everything helps. But I think ultimately success is about peace of mind. It's about peace of mind. If you are happy with yourself, if you're happy with your space, that's the most important thing. Because I saw a lot of people there who were successful in terms of bank balance, but then who are very, very empty souls, who are, struggling to have a normal relationship with somebody in their life. So I would advise you, peace of mind is what you should be looking at as success.
Mm-hmm. I think so many key lessons that you've shared with us today. I think, there is so much that we're going to take away from this and try to apply on our own lives. On that note, I just want to say that if you're looking to unlock the secrets of success and really help yourself on a profound level, then join me on my next webinar where I'll be jumping into this in a little bit more detail. Ramesh sir, I just want to say a big thank you for coming on the show and sharing your profound knowledge and personal life experience that I think is invaluable in the scheme of trying to understand what it takes to become successful. Sir, I just want to thank you, first of all, once again. And I have one last thing to ask of you. Is there one piece of advice that you would give to listeners who are listening to this right now that will take them one step closer towards success? Any one action that they could take?
I think the most important thing is a single advice, which I'll give. It's about how you use your time. That's what determines what you become. So just study your routine. What are you doing from morning to evening? Are you doing the same thing every day, which is not leading anywhere? You're meeting with the same kind of friends. You're doing the same thing with them for half an hour, 45 minutes, meeting in one particular coffee shop. You're having conversations, but it's not leading anywhere at all. I'm not asking you to cut that group. I'm telling you, dedicate one part of that to a more productive, more useful, more outcome-based activity. One. So I'm telling you to study your routine and how you're spending your time. That'll be the first thing. One more, I've already told about it. Don't do anything half-hearted. The third thing is that if I can do it, you can definitely do it.
Mm-hmm. Truly, sir. I think that that little piece of confidence that you've left us with is the perfect way to end this conversation. It's been beautiful, amazing. And if you're looking for more amazing conversations like this, where we're jumping in depth and trying to understand what does it take to become successful from the best of the best, then jump on into the next episode of Vikram's Incredible 1000, the Success Podcast. Until then, once again, thanking Ramesh sir. This is both of us signing off, and we'll see you next time.